Welp, y'all, we are back. We are at day 54 of the story, and we're on chapter 18, Daniel in Exile. Now, I'm going to tell you what, it's a little bit later tonight because I just got done going and watching I Can Only Imagine 2. Mercy me story, huh? Amazing. And you know what? That daggone movie made me cry. Yep, when they was at Red Rocks and the friends was all there and the family and it was his song done. I don't mean to spoil it for any of y'all who ain't seen it. Oh, look at there, guys. And I'm a little bit woolly. But anyway, I don't mean to spoil it for anybody that ain't seen it, but that's a good movie. Go see it. I Can Only Imagine. Yep, but they actually didn't do much singing of the I Can Only Imagine or anything. It actually, the movie was more the story without a lot of the singing in there. But, oh, what an amazing bunch of stories some of our modern Christian writers are. And we think to the hymns of past. But man, there's some real spirit that goes into some of these current ones. So let's get in on this. The story. We on chapter 18, Daniel in Exile. Now Daniel and 3 other young men were among those taken to Babylon in 605 BC as part of the first deportation of Jews prior to the fall of Jerusalem. These 4 have become the most well-known quartet of heroes in the Old Testament. I wonder if they were a barbershop quartet. No, I'm kidding. I don't wonder that. But it would be cool, wouldn't it? You can just picture the musical based off of that one. All right. So they successfully adapted to the losses of home and family and survived the tough training in foreign etiquette. It's not hard to see how they quickly became the king's favorites. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, what you doing? Anyway, chief of his court officials, to bring into the king's service some of the Israelites from the royal family and the nobility. Young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's palace. He was to teach them the language and literature of the Babylonians. The king assigned them a daily amount of food and wine from his king's table. They were to be trained for 3 years, and after that, they were to enter the king's service. Among those who were chosen were some from Judah: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael. That looks like Mishael. Okay. Azariah, Mishael, Hananiah, and Daniel. Daniel's by far the easiest of that quartet to say. Thank you, Daniel. The chief officials gave them I bet they got some new duds, new names to Daniel, and to Daniel the name Belthazzar, to Hananiah Shadrach, to Mishael Meshach, now he almost gets the same one, and to Azariah Abednego, but it's right here it's spelled Abednego. It's all. So we all know Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those are easy, only because we say them so much. It's not easy when you look at how they're spelled, folks. Not easy. If you struggle with these, don't you worry. It's fine. I struggle with these. That doesn't make it okay because I did it. I'm just saying you're not the only one. Yeah. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine, and he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way. Now God had caused the official to show favor and compassion to Daniel, but the official told Daniel, "I am afraid of my lord the king, who has assigned your food and drink. Why should he see you looking worse than the other young men your age? The king would then have my head because of you." Daniel then said to the guard, whom the chief official had anointed or appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, "Please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat the royal food, and treat your servants in accordance with what you see." So he agreed to this and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. So the guard took away their choice food and wine, and they were to drink, and gave them vegetables instead. And they didn't even put cheese on it that we know of. To these 4 young men God gave knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning. Daniel could understand visions and dreams of all kinds. At the end of the time set by the king to bring them into his service, the chief official presented them to Nebuchadnezzar. The king talked with them, and he found none equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, or Azariah. So they entered the king's service. In every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king questioned them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in his whole kingdom. And Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. In the second year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams. His mind was troubled, and he could not sleep. So the king summoned the magicians, the enchanters, sorcerers, astrologers to tell him what he had dreamed. Yep, when they came in and stood before the king, he said to them, "I have had a dream that troubles me, and I want to know what it means." Then the astrologers answered the king, "May the king live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will interpret it." The king replied to the astrologers, "This is what I have firmly decided. If you do not tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I will have to cut you into pieces and your houses turned into piles of rubble. But if you tell me the dream and explain it, you will receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. So tell me the dream and interpret it for me." Nothing like a little pressure. Once more they replied, "Let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will interpret it." Then the king answered, "I am certain that you are trying to gain time, because you realize that this is what I have firmly decided. If you do not tell me the dream, there is only one penalty for you. You have conspired to tell me misleading and wicked things, hoping the situation would change. So then tell me the dream, and I will know that you can interpret it for me." The astrologers answered the king, "There is no one on earth who can do what the king asks. No king, however great or mighty, has ever asked such a thing of a magician or an enchanter or an astrologer. What the king asks is too difficult. No one can reveal it to the king except the gods, and they do not live among humans." This made the king so angry and furious that he ordered the execution of all the wise men of Babylon. So the decree was issued to put the wise men to death, and the men were sent to look for Daniel and his friends to put them to death. And Arioch, the commander of the king's guard, had gone out to put to death the wise men of Babylon. Daniel spoke to him with wisdom and tact. He asked the king's officer, "Why did the king issue such a harsh decree?" Arioch then explained the matter to Daniel. At this, Daniel went to the king and asked for time so that he might interpret the dream for him. And then Daniel returned to his house and explained the matter to his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. He urged them to plead for mercy from God of heaven and concerning this mystery, so that he and his friends might not be executed with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. During the night, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Then Daniel praised God of heaven and said, Praise be the name of God forever and ever. Wisdom and power are his. He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and rises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him. I thank and praise you, God of my ancestors. You have given me wisdom and power. You have made known to me what we ask of you. You have made known to us the dream of the king. Then Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to execute the wise men of Babylon, and said to him, Do not execute the wise men of Babylon. Take me to the king, and I will interpret his dream for him. Arioch took Daniel to the king at once and said, I have found a man among the exiles from Judah who can tell the king what his dream means. The king asked Daniel, also called Belteshazzar, but that's not how we say it, but it's still like pretty weird word. Are you able to tell me what I saw in my dream and interpret it? Daniel replied, No wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviner can explain to the king the mystery he is asked about. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in days to come. Your dream and the vision that passed through your mind as you were lying in bed are these. As your majesty was lying there, your mind turned to things, we better get up to where it turned to come. And the revealer of mysteries showed you what is going to happen. As for me, the mystery has been revealed to me, not because I have a greater wisdom than anyone else alive, but so that your majesty may know the interpretation and that you may understand what went through your mind. Good deal. First, amazingly, Daniel described the king's dream in every detail. His subsequent interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream was a history lesson using the king's magnificent dream statue as a visual aid. The head of the statue was gold. Figures, chests, and arms were silver. The belly and thighs, bronze. The legs, iron, and the feet, a mix of iron and baked clay. Each part of the statue represented an empire. The statue's gold head represented Nebuchadnezzar himself and his empire. He was chief among chiefs, leader of the known world, dazzling and incomparable, but not unfortunately permanent. Wasn't permanent. Babylon would someday give way to an inferior but momentarily stronger power, the Medo-Persians, under Cyrus. They would also fall to the Greeks, led by Alexander the Great, and the Romans would come. The statue's feet, made partly from iron and partly from clay, could point to the globalized world of shifting power bases as history spins forward, while some Bible interpreters have found in the 10 toes symbolic clues to our own future at the end of history. For Nebuchadnezzar, though, the message was clear and simple. God directs history, and Babylon's power, prestige, and privilege formed only a short chapter in a much longer story. Such news at the height of an empire's influence was bound to create a strong response. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell prostrate before Daniel and paid him honor and ordered that an offering and incense be presented to him. The king said to Daniel, Surely your God is the God of gods, and the Lord of kings, and the revealer of mysteries, for you were able to reveal this mystery. Then the king placed Daniel in a high position and lavished many gifts on him. He made him ruler over the entire province of Babylon and placed him in charge of all its wise men. Moreover, at Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego administrators over the province of Babylon, while Daniel himself remained at the royal court. Top of 254, we're putting an end to it. I can only imagine how much better it's going to be. But we just went and saw I Can Only Imagine 2. Is this going to be 2 times better tomorrow? Y'all better come back and watch. Come and look at day 55 or 6 or 7 or who knows? Who knows? If you missed it, go back to day 1. Just start from there. Go look at them all. It's a book. It's being read, and it's getting talked about as it goes. Hey, I love you all. I hope you all have a blessed day, and you just enjoy every minute of it, and never forget to be grateful for what you're given. Love y'all. Bye.